a little bit different. So we'll talk you through a little bit of the tech, we'll talk you through a little bit about their business, and more importantly, you're gonna hear their stories about why they became entrepreneurs. So allow me to kick this off by introducing our very first entrepreneur. I think you are going to love her because she is one of your own. She is a PA who is now the founder and CEO of a company called RenewRx. And RenewRx is what I would call a digital health company. So smartphone app that integrates with a patient. Providers have all the visibility on the back end, and hers is very special because it tackles a really complicated problem, especially right now, maternal health. So it's for new moms to help them improve their nutrition, to help give them personalized coaching and advice, and help improve those really important maternal outcomes, which haven't been looking so good in recent years. The smartest thing about what she has designed, though, I have to say, is that she's managed to build this app that not only patients love, but that give providers a new revenue stream. Oh, that's right. She's figured out how to get this paid for by insurance. And so here to tell her story, not only about her business, RenewRx, but also about what made her take the plunge from PA to startup entrepreneur, is the founder and CEO of RenewRx, Kari.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. Before I get to tell you a little bit about my story, I want to hear from you. So show of hands, how many of you are PA students? Okay, and how many are practicing or retired clinicians? Okay, now for the clinicians, how many of you remember just how hard it was to go from that transition, from being that PA student to suddenly becoming the one that's in charge of someone's care? How hard was that? Yeah, for me, I remember very well. My first PA conference, I was actually sitting in the back. I got here a little bit late, and I now suddenly am at the front of the stage. So how did I do that? What was the journey that brought me here? And that's what I'm going to share with you. Specifically, the knocks, both the hard and the soft, that really opened the door for me and led me to speaking to you today. My first job was extremely hard. I had 1,200 patients PCP'd to me in just 15 minutes, mostly uninsured, underinsured, primarily Spanish speaking. And I had to choose. Can I either provide comprehensive care or can I stay on time? Because really, as most of us know, you can't do both. So every time I heard a knock on the door, I knew for sure I was running behind. But in my mind, I thought for sure it was management. They were gonna kick me out because I had no idea what I was doing. And I had a huge case of imposter syndrome. Can anyone relate? Yeah, for sure. And so the knocks for me weren't actually my downfall. They were what made me incredible and a top performing provider for the clinic. And with all the hard work that I did, I would be working after hours. I knew the janitorial staff, Daniel, the security guard, and all of the drama going on in his life. And it was exhausting. And so suddenly when motherhood came, I was like, finally, a vacation, right? I can sleep in, I can eat bonbons, and maybe I can get that pottery wheel that I've been eyeing. But really, motherhood hit me hard. And it was when I came back at 12 weeks postpartum with 2 wrist braces on, compliments of that heavy stroller or heavy car seat that I had to carry. I could barely type. I had to see patients every 20 to 30 minutes and pump milk in between with just 3 hours of sleep. So while I was sitting one day in that tiny little broom closet they called the pumping room, I suddenly saw on my computer screen all of the patient names lining up. And I knew once again, I was running behind. So I said, screw this. I'm gonna just take matters into my own hands. Because on a regular basis, I would measure my success by the ounce, and I felt like I was dwindling, just like my supply. And I cried far too often over spilt milk. So this moment, I said, I'm not doing this anymore. So what I did was I was wearing these, this is before the Willow, these grapefruit-like collection cups under my white coat, and I had a hand pump, and I, Kari Cow, suddenly became Kari the Cow. And I went into that room incognito, and these patients had no idea. Was it ridiculous? Oh yeah. Was it innovative? Absolutely. And innovation really comes when you take the impossible and make it possible. So when an opportunity came knocking for me to go in and see patients in their homes, in addition to being in clinic, I jumped. And that knock, I opened the door and truly saw a huge opportunity. Suddenly, what I was doing in clinic really came to light. You see, we just see a snapshot of a patient's life, yet we give them a destination of health, but we don't tell them how to get there. We don't give them that roadmap. But when I was doing these home visits, suddenly I realized that my recommendation for someone to go out and exercise, and they don't even have a sidewalk, or their neighborhood is very dangerous, or I tell them, eat fresh fruits and vegetables, or improve your diet, but there's no grocery store nearby. Suddenly I realized that was a huge gap and an opportunity to solve. And that was such an incredible moment for me. And then COVID hit. And as we all know, it knocked us down. And this was a moment for me. I had 2 young kids at home that I said, I'm gonna go back to school and become a professional chef with a nutritional focus. I didn't know what I was gonna do yet, but I knew I was gonna do something. And so I was so passionate about food as medicine. As we've seen, there's a huge movement towards it because really it is an incredible prescription to help support a patient's health. Yet we as medical providers get less than 10 hours. I got 3. I'm not sure if many of you can beat me. But the point is that because we don't actually get enough education, we don't feel comfortable prescribing nutrition. So we don't. So I did a lot of soul searching and kind of trying to figure out ultimately, what am I gonna do? I graduated from culinary school, now what? And it was during one of those late nights after my 10 p.m. tennis finished, my sister and I we sit in the driveway of my house and we kind of just sit in the car and talk for hours about life and what we're gonna do. And it was at that moment, she reminded me, hey, when I had gestational diabetes, that was a turning point for me in my health. Suddenly, I was so overwhelmed. I had to poke my finger 4 times a day, twice the number of doctor's appointments, and to overhaul my nutrition overnight. And she said to me, when I called you, even though you take care of these patients, you didn't have the answers or the tools to really support me. And for me, that's where it hit home. I want to help my patients, but I don't have concrete support to do that. And it was that moment that made me kind of think back to this culmination in my journey of life, of what have I done so far? I've been feeling like an ineffective medical provider. I want to provide patient support, but I just don't have the time. And then as a mother who's just feeling that mom guilt on a regular basis, trying to help my babies, even in the womb, but you don't even know what to do or how to do it. And then as a medical provider in the home, now seeing really what do these patients need and how can we truly support them? And then finally, the culinary nutrition and just truly the impact that it can have. And that's when it hit me. My purpose in life was to create Renew RX. So Renew RX is a patient app, a medical provider dashboard, and tech-enabled coaching that supports a patient between visits. We're specifically focusing right now on diabetes and pregnancy, but our platform is able to scale beyond just that condition into the whole realm of reproductive health for women throughout their life cycle. We give those patients that roadmap to support them, and the outcomes have been incredible. So what does that look like? Let me show you.
What's missing from prenatal care isn't more appointments. It's more support and tools for patients and care teams between visits. Today, I want to show you what that support looks like through the story of one mom and her care team. Rachel was just 8 weeks pregnant when she was referred to Renew RX, and she was completely overwhelmed.
I had this instant guilt. It was probably my first experience with mom guilt was there's a little baby growing inside of me that I'm harming just by like living, and I don't know what to do. And then that's kind of where, Kelly and RenewRx comes into the picture.
At RenewRx, we bring together a patient app, provider dashboard, and white glove coaching to deliver seamless support between visits. We work as an extension of each practice's care team, adapting to existing workflows, supporting staff, and personalizing our approach to fit what each clinic needs. We're starting with diabetes and pregnancy, where continuous care can change outcomes like Rachel's. But our model is designed to support all stages of reproductive health.
Between like the talking to you and talking to Marianne and having the app, like those are the things that are motivating to me to maintain such a healthy lifestyle in pregnancy.
Through the app, patients like Rachel can log their meals, track their blood sugar, get real-time feedback, and connect with a coach all in one place. For providers, the dashboard offers real-time trends, actionable insights, and billing support, fully integrated with the EHR.
When a coach is talking to a patient about nutrition recommendations, exercise recommendations, I don't have to repeat that with the patient, or I don't have to document that again. I can say, just see coach's notes, which is great.
We weren't billing any of this, monitoring the blood sugars. We were just billing for our office visits. In that way, it's been easier for the nurse practitioners to manage.
We've proven it works. In a paid pilot with the nation's largest high-risk OB group, 100% of the 47 moms enrolled reached full glucose control within 4 weeks, beating national outcome averages. Practices were reimbursed up to $1,000 per patient per month, nearly $900 more than they could have captured alone, all with minimal denials and no added staff. When Rachel was referred, RenewRx connected with her within 24 to 48 hours. Before she even met her coach, she completed our Renew Plate series. Short, interactive lessons on nutrition and glucose control, empowering her from day one.
This is not about taking things away or deprivation. It's about like, what can we add to our plate to make it a more balanced meal, and feeling really like satisfied with that.
Between visits, Rachel's coach reviewed her data, adjusted her goals, and triaged with her care team when needed, supporting both patient and provider every step of the way.
Wouldn't be able to do it without you. So thank you to you and your whole team and the founders and Marianne. And just like, if this baby's middle name is Kelly, RenewRx, Marianne, like, don't be surprised.
It is the best product for this type of patient. Absolutely.
At RenewRx, we combine personalized coaching, real-time technology, and provider collaboration, renewing the joys of pregnancy, one patient at a time.
As you can see, RenewRx was born from all of these experiences throughout my career. And now I invite you, if anything that I've spoken about resonates, take out your phone, scan the QR code, and follow us on social media, like us, share us. There's a form in there that you can get on our mailing list. We promise we will not be spamming you. We want your support, and we need it. We are a young company, and especially PA to PA, this is our opportunity to really rise, come together, and renew maternal health care together. So in the spirit of all the knocks in my life, I invite you to listen, and let's do a quick knock knock joke. Knock knock. Opportunity. Opportunity is knocking. Open the door. Even if you're feeling overwhelmed, if you're feeling scared, whatever it may be, there's innovation in all of us. Whether it's the time when you're figuring out your frustrations with the pumping, or seeing a patient in clinic or in their home, this is your time to think, how can I change the healthcare spectrum? Thank you so much, and I look forward to seeing you at our booth. We are by the pickleball stand, or the pickleball area in the Innovation Center. Thank you so much.